Hey, what's up everybody? Justin with AmericanTrucks.com here with our latest installment of truck news, and boy, is it a biggie. Of course, we're talking about the recently revealed 2021 Ford F150. Now, in this video, I plan on covering some of the new styling and features, along with the new Power Boost hybrid power plant and some of the other general areas I really dig about the new truck. So, let's go! Now, Ford had to get creative with the launch of the world's best-selling vehicle due to the coronavirus, of course, which derailed the company's plans to unveil it at the Detroit Auto Show earlier this month. Now, hosted by the current voice of the Ford truck commercials and Demolition Man sewer dweller Dennis Leary, the team at Ford did a really good job with hitting some of the big points of the new truck while using some fun graphics and just keeping things the right amount of time despite some questionable but expected fluff. But let's dive into this thing, man, and at first glance, I would say it's a safe step forward for the Blue Oval, right? It's different enough from the 13th gen or previous model truck without going full Cybertruck. And for the record, I feel like calling this thing the 14th gen, while certainly impressive in its own right, is a bit like calling your kid a 36-month-old. No, Karen, he's 3. Let's just call this thing a 2021 moving forward. And going back to that different but safe thing. Now, if you're not convinced that the truck has changed enough, well, consider this. Every single exterior body panel is different from the previous model. In fact, Ford even says they've changed or revised 92% of the truck from the 2020 model year. So while it might not appear to be a huge departure, that stat certainly says otherwise. You're looking at a totally new front end here, guys, complete with the updated C-clamp headlights, which you really don't get a full sense of until you see those headlights off, revealing a much larger or taller C-shape thanks to the LED running lights in the headlight and now also the bumper on higher trim models. Now, base trucks will still get a halogen headlight, but Ford has incorporated 2 different LED headlights here for the 21, including an LED reflector style headlight and an LED projector style headlight. Now, that latter is also going to boast steering linked articulation, which is very cool. Those new headlights do flank one of 11 different grills for the F150, which I know might seem a little crazy to some, but F150 fans and owners out there alike have kind of grown accustomed to the many different grills of the truck and is sort of a calling card, if you will, of the F150. Now, the front bumper has totally been redesigned as well, featuring some new fog light placement and a new active air dam on some models that will actually lower and raise automatically at different speeds. Now, this, along with other front end tweaks, makes this the most aerodynamic F150 ever built, despite that bold face. Ford also added some girth, if you will, to the F-150 in the form of a slightly wider stance, 3/4 of an inch to be exact, and while also increasing the width of the belt line and the wheel arches, which certainly contributes to a tougher, more planted look. Now, those more pronounced wheel well arches house one of 12 different wheel choices for 21, ranging from the base 17-inch wheels all the way down the line to the baller 22s on the Platinum and Limited trucks. Now, behind those new wheels, something I'm excited about, new brakes and a new electronic assist brake system, which replaces the vacuum booster. And again, as someone who has just constantly killed Ford on the stock F-150 brakes, this should be a welcome change. Now, I'm also a big fan of the fender mounted vents, which seems very Super Duty-ish or Gen 2 Raptor inspired. I think they look cool. You're also looking at new mirrors with optional cameras and bigger, deeper door handles that will allow for a thick work glove to access that door handle easier than before. And that was a big takeaway for me, especially here watching Ford's presentation, and that was Ford's acknowledgement of the utility aspect of the F-150. Not that that's any big mystery or surprise, but their commitment to making the truck even more useful for those of you guys who use it for one of many different purposes. And nowhere is that utility aspect more apparent than the rear end of the 21 and the tailgate area. Big personal highlight for me and a big thing I'm excited about is this Pro Power onboard system. It's basically a bed-mounted integrated generator for the F-150. Now, 2 of these are going to be unique to the new hybrid F-150. Yes, that's right, hybrid truck. We'll talk about it more in a second, but even standard gas trucks can still take advantage of 2,000 watts of power through this system. Now, hybrid models, you do get a beefier 2 kilowatt or an optional 7.2 kilowatt system, which is also equipped with 4 120 and 1 240 outlets, essentially allowing for endless capabilities. Now, that tailgate does also feature a new work surface that has all kinds of useful areas for measuring, writing, cutting, and cleats for securing longer cargo. There's also some built-in indentations to be used for clamping stuff down, and those same indentations can double as a bottle opener, which is just purely awesome. Now, it's not all function back there. The tailgate does also receive a more pronounced looking spoiler, if you will, which I'm told is to help with that arrow we pointed out earlier, but I think also contributes to a sportier look for the rear. Finally, those C-shaped taillights are straight off that 2014 model year truck, but in all seriousness, I think they look great and do flow really well with the headlights. Now, speaking of looking great, the new interior is a complete home run here. Ford went through and modernized both the shapes and materials, and more importantly, the tech. Now, namely that 12-inch screen, which will be available starting on the XLT luxury package and everything above that. Now, base XLs and non-luxury package XLT still receive a notable 8-inch screen, which is a nice upgrade from previous gens. Now, another big favorite for me is this optional 12-inch digital gauge cluster. I mean, having this thing on my 2019 Mustang, I'm a huge fan, and honestly couldn't imagine grabbing a new F-150 without it. The 2021 will also usher in this new Sync 4 multimedia system, along with an optional 18-speaker B&O Play system. Yes, 18 speakers, it's crazy. But I do have to say that I love that Ford opted to give the interior a nice balance of physical buttons along with these massive screens, right? Because there's one thing I hate with these newer cars and these huge touchscreens is that you really can't find a button when you need it most. And the fact that Ford addressed that, tossed in some physical buttons along with these killer new screens, definitely give that a big thumbs up. But tech aside, I love the new foldable console table, or work surface as Ford's calling it, along with the locking under-seat storage for the rear. However, one kind of head scratcher moment for me were these max reclining seats, which by the way are only available on the King Ranch Platinum and Limited models. Basically, this is a combination of your seat back and seat bottom folding a bunch of ways, but in the end creating a nearly 180-degree flat surface, which is supposedly ideal for sleeping. Now, my thing is, if you have the $60,000 to $70,000+ to drop on one of these premium model trucks, something tells me you could probably swing a night at the Red Roof Inn in a pinch if needed. But hey, I'm not judging. If you want to sleep in your expensive truck, be my guest. But what do you say we move into powertrains? And for the most part, there is a lot of carryover here. Your base engine is still your 3.3 liter V6, while you can also still find the pair of EcoBoost, the 2.7 and the 3.5, while the beloved Coyote is also back for 2021, that 5 liter V8, as is the 3 liter diesel. But there is a new option for 2021, and that is the hybrid called PowerBoost. Yes, finally, right? A hybrid F-150. Now, at its core, the hybrid will use a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 EcoBoost engine, which is then backed by a 10-speed modular hybrid transmission. Now, this is similar to the current 10R80 transmission. However, it does feature a 35 kilowatt, 47 horsepower electric motor built into the actual transmission itself. Now, this electric motor will be fed by the 1.5 kilowatt battery mounted to the frame, and we're told will produce at least 420 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque, but will likely be a little bit torquier than that, just knowing what we know about electric motors and how they affect torque. Now, no exact figures have been listed yet, but expect it to tow at least 12,000 pounds and have a range of 700 miles on a single tank, which by the way is about 200 more miles than I can get out of my current 36-gallon tank in my Raptor. It's very impressive. Now, the best part is, guys, Ford is offering this new PowerBoost hybrid on every single trim level truck. 3 liter diesel, I'm looking at you. Now, if Ford were to do that with the 3 liter diesel, I think there'd be a lot of happy campers out there. Although, let's be honest, something tells me this new PowerBoost setup will make a lot of people really stop and consider if they even want to go the diesel route at all. But outside of that, there will still be your standard F-150 trim lineup, right? This includes the XL, XLT, Lariat, Platinum, King Ranch, and of course your Limited. While that Raptor is expected to come in a couple of years, and I cannot wait to see that thing. Also coming in a couple of years, a fully electric F-150. Yes, it was confirmed last night at the reveal, and that, my friends, will be an absolute game changer. But we want to know, what do you guys think of this thing? Are you happy with the changes Ford has made with the next generation of F-150? And if so, what part do you really like the most? We want to hear from you. Now guys, we know you have a ton of videos to view out there on the new F-150, so I personally just want to thank you for taking the time and watching ours. And as always, if you dig our content, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. We certainly appreciate it. But in the meantime, I'm Justin. Thanks for watching. And remember, for all things F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.